And so you mentioned the importance of getting in touch with our bodies and connecting to our intuition. Can you share your approach to helping individuals achieve this connection?
Oh gosh, really, I think most people who are suffering or hurting don't realize that those are two key elements that have them off track. So many people are stuck in their minds, or they're grasping at something they think they want, or repetitive patterns or addictions, and they're not listening to that little voice inside. Or if they hear it, they push it down, they ignore it, they pretend it's not there. And a lot of times we've learned to push it away. We've learned to repress it because we've either watched generations of people from our family lines or around us do the same to survive, to develop the coping strategies they did. And so we're just kind of unconsciously repeating, not listening to that voice. Or it's been dangerous to listen. There's been a lot of reasons we don't listen. And a lot of times it's because we've been traumatized. So we've had to leave our bodies. We've had to disassociate, right? If we get hurt, violated, abused, bullied, emotionally, mentally, or physically or sexually, there are times we literally have to separate what we think and know from what we think from what we actually know, and what we feel from feeling it in our bodies, and we take off. And so if we're disconnected to our bodies, we cannot hear our intuition, because our intuition lives inside our bodies. And some people would say spirit whispers into that.
Yeah, and that was what I was going through with drinking. I completely numbed myself, so I didn't wasn't able to really get to know myself. What was in my head was all of the negative thoughts, emotions, feelings. Like even my dialogue to myself was negative, and I never got in tune with my spirit. And I'm just like discovering now that I'm sober. Wow, what amazing. You have like a best friend and a support system inside you there. And your spirit is there to guide you. And, the process of releasing emotions like shame and anger, grief, and loss is definitely a crucial part of the growing experience. And how do you actually guide people through this process? And what kind of challenges do you see they face?
Gosh, that's such a big question, but it's a really important one, because so many people have been shamed around feeling in the first place, right? Just to show emotions, um, came with a stigma. You're bad, you're wrong, you're weak. What's wrong with you for feeling? Get over it, right? All those voices that you're told. So there's that, right? And then, there's stigmas on anger. You shouldn't be angry. It's wrong to be angry. And anger is also how we learn our boundaries. Like there's a need for righteous anger. There's a need because it teaches us how to say no, or, when to say yes, when to say no. It's a regulator, but we have so much shame because anger so often has been shown to us in violent ways or passive aggressive ways, and we never want to emulate that. So I think a lot of times, whether that's shame, people are afraid to feel it because they're embarrassed, or pushing things down, or anger because they've been told it's wrong to be angry, or good people aren't angry, or it's rude to be angry. Then these feelings get mushed inside, right? You mentioned fear, right? We're supposed to be tough. We're supposed to know how to get through things. And there's a lot of things that are hard to figure out. And those feelings need to have a safe space. And it depends if I'm working individually with someone. I have coaching courses with music and dance and meditations and visualizations and lessons. I have individual processes with people. But the big thing is really building a safe relationship where they start to know that, first of all, there is going to be no judgment here, and then I'm going to help them do that. I'm literally, sometimes I'll be in there helping them move and teaching them how to move their breath through their body, how to make the noises, until we fake it till we make it, literally till it comes through. Sometimes it's just being a mirror for someone where I can see a little spark of it and they push it down, and it's bringing them back into that present moment and just helping them very slowly titrate that in a way that doesn't flood their system, just enough. So it really depends on where the person's at, but there's numerous body practices, presencing practices, grounding practices, and movement and dance practices that I love to use, as well as just, coaching and working with the shadow and understanding that. So there's just, a big amount of tools for those questions, and they're so needed, but a lot of it does come from being able to express it. Otherwise it gets stuck.
Yes. There was this one lady I met, I forget her name, but she's also expresses, I forget what she's called, but it's like theater, and you're really kind of
Yeah,
being theatrical and expressing your emotion through movement, but
yes.
it's like kind of like poetry at the same time. There's singing and there's like kind of like not rapping because but lyrics to be lyrical and
Uh-huh.
rhyming. It's so neat.
Yeah,
And she actually did it. It was so she was on my podcast. Right? I think it's
yeah,
Braveheart, something Braveheart, I forget her name. Oh my gosh, amazing flow. I'm like, how does she do that? But then the movements and everything, I was like, oh, I need to learn this. And I think the movement is so important because it's like even me just doing this, I'm feeling good.
yeah.
So
I
anyway,
mean, exactly. I mean, I love to teach people how to just check into their body parts because
yeah,
if you wake up in the morning and you literally move, just isolate and check in. I even have a class where we do this, where we check into different parts of our body and listen to their messages. You're going to be like, wow, my arms are carrying a lot of shame today or anger, and you release it. Oh, my belly is carrying some fear, and you breathe into it, and literally just regulating each body part and moving it through and letting it express is like an immediate clearing. We so often think we need to just get up and get going from the mental state, but the body needs check-ins and every part of it has a message for you.
that's right. And that's why it's so important
Makes me want
to
to get up and do that for you right now.
right, I know. It's all late for us, and we're just like, yay, we're ready to go for the day. But because that's a very important because people have a lot of like desk jobs and computer jobs, and they're just stuck on the computer all day. As human beings, we're not meant to be staying still all day. We're